All right, let's start this thing up. Post-game live. Friday night Knicks. Late night post-game show. CP holding it down on the solo dolo flight. CP Digital tonight. This is Knicks Post-Game Live. Number one post-game show on social media for the Knicks fan, by the Knicks fan. If you're a diehard Knicks fan who loves to talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and post-game live fan discussions featuring live callers, hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. But this is a game, if you're a Knicks fan, that you probably did want to skip. Knicks get absolutely washed, destroyed, obliterated by the Houston Rockets tonight. 120-96. Man. I mean, listen, we knew what this game was going to be. We knew what the result was going to be. It was just a matter of how much would the deficit be? How much would they lose by? And it was ugly, man. This one was so ugly that D'Antoni didn't even come to the game. They said D'Antoni was quote unquote out with the flu. Nah, that wasn't it, man. It was they gave D'Antoni the night off. They're about to head into a playoff run, long playoff run. Gave him the night off because it wasn't worth the stress, and they just let CP3 and Harden just coach themselves, basically. So this one was over before it started. We knew it. We knew it. Rockets started bombing away. Went like 26 or 50-something from downtown. An absurd number, but not absurd by any stretch from the Rockets standpoint. They went 22 for 59 for downtown. The shot chart was crazy. It was either completely inside or completely outside. The lobs all day or just bombing away from downtown, and it was pretty much over in that regard. Listen, Knicks came in shorthanded. Fizdale sits Emmanuel Mudiay, rests him, basically, and we'll get to the article later, but basically saying he wanted to preserve him because Mudiay, he busted his ass all year, and for all that he's done this year, with this being an important contract year, he didn't want to stress Mudiay too much in this game. So they put Mario Hezonja with the promotion at point guard, and he didn't disappoint. Say what you will about Mario. He steps up for the challenge. His IQ might not all be there. His defense might not all be there. But you know what? When Mario gets challenged, he rises up to it, man. We've seen it all year. The dunk on Greek Freak, the block on LeBron. Mario steps up to the challenge, man. He went to Orlando, went to his old stomping grounds, had a good game the Wednesday night, 29-6. And tonight, Mario Hezonja with a triple-double, 16 points, 16 rebounds, 11 assists. Has more assists than Mudiay. No, more assists than Mudiay ever in a game. Hezonja is out there running the offense. But you know what? I think it seems like Hezonja is much more comfortable with the ball in his hands. He's much more comfortable running the offense than off ball if you take these two games as a trend. Now, obviously, a lot of his stats came during garbage time when the Rockets literally left the game, which was disrespectful as hell. I mean, listen, the game was over by the first quarter, but I mean, to see the Rockets empty the bench, literally went home. Like CP3, Harden, they went home literally before the fourth quarter was even over. And that's disrespectful, man. And I hope these young Knicks really take that to heart. As they look over and there's literally nobody on the bench but John Lucas and his bald ass head, who's an NBA lifer. Blatant disrespect, man. Blatant disrespect. So I hope Mitch is watching. I hope Knox is watching. And I hope ISO's watching. Because that's more likely the future. Richard Rose says, what? Yeah, the Rockets cleared the bench and the starters literally went home and left us to deal with Iman Shumpert and his patched up beard. That beard is, he got that Udonis Haslem beard. Like, there's no point in even having a beard. They need to get that LeBron hair transplant on their beard, because Shump out there looking raggedy, man. And when Shump started scoring, that was it. I was fed up. I turned the game off. Once I saw Shump hit his first points, I said, oh, man, I'm done. I've seen enough. Shumpert's scoring on us. Now this is really brutal. But yeah, man. I mean, listen, man. We knew what the outcome was gonna be. For the Rockets, it's all about their playoff push. For us, it's all about having 3 games left, and the countdown to May 14th begins. Because this is gonna be the most important offseason of our livelihoods, of our lifetime as Knicks fans, man. This is gonna be the most important offseason, man, because it can go really well. Or it could be more of the same of what you see in this year, man. It's really on that end of the extreme to where this team is gonna go. But we'll get to a little bit of that later. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again. This is Knicks Post Game Live. CP on the solo dolo fight. This game is so out of hand. Jay Ellis bailed. I don't know where Jay Ellis is at. Nah, I know where Jay Ellis is at. He's doing his family thing. So Jay Ellis always finds a way to either miss the really good wins or the really terrible losses. You know what I'm saying? There's no in between. He either misses a really good one or a really bad one. So a shout out to Jay Ellis. I'll catch up with him next week. We'll be at the Garden, last home game of the season. Knicks versus Detroit. And that'll be courtesy of NBA Playmakers is taking us to the game. So shout out to NBA Playmakers on that one. Shout out to TM Simmer Singh. What's going on? Louis Matthews, CP the artist. I see you in there. CP said, I appreciate the dedication. You know it, man. But you guys are in the chat too. So, I mean, there's some sort of dedication either to the Knicks or to the show. But, we're all in it together, man. We're all in the same boat. You know what I mean? Keith Sinclair says we got watched like a laundromat. Yeah, we did. We did. It was expected, though. I mean, come on, man. We're not in the same league as these guys. So, not a surprise in the slightest. Just didn't want to get watched that bad. But on this being the Silver Lining show, as we look at some positives, we become one step closer to clinching the bottom of the league. We've now clinched at least the second worst, which means we can't fall. We can fall no farther than 6th at this point. 3 games left. So let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. So 15-64 in the campaign. Knicks going for record franchise losses. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. We knew what this was going to be going into the season, so I'm not all that else. I don't even care about the record, to be honest. That's as long as we finish at the bottom and give ourselves the best chance in this draft to come out with something, productive for this roster going forward. G. Andresi says, we definitely got that roster. Yeah, it's coming, man. It's coming. So Hezonja, listen, not a bad night for Hezonja, man. Triple-double. Yeah, most of it in garbage time. Finishes 6 of 11. 16 points, 16 boards, 11 rebounds for Super Mario, if you want to call him that. Money Mitch, good. Money Mitch had a pretty nice outing. I was looking forward to that Mitch versus Capella matchup. And Mitch held his own. Capella definitely, obviously, is an experienced vet by this time. Just got the bag over the offseason. A lot of people compare Mitch and Capella's game, and you can see why. But I thought Mitch caught Capella with some good defense. Mitch finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 block shots. He got 2 block shots in the first quarter. So Mitch looked all right. Blockness looks all right, man. He looked all right, man. But we just couldn't we couldn't figure out their pick and roll tonight. And the Rockets, they just bomb away from downtown. And obviously, with the 3-point defense being our Achilles heel, always is the Knicks' Achilles heel is a 3-point defense. This was a tailor-made game to get absolutely destroyed. G. Andresi says Mitch was destroying Fareed too. Yeah, Mitch definitely caught Fareed as well. Definitely caught the manimal out there. Money Mitch. But, yeah, man. Mitch held it down. I thought Knox had a couple decent looks. He seems like he's getting more comfortable offensively, at least. I think Knox is looking a lot more comfortable offensively. They even mentioned on the telecast, and I thought the same thing. They was reading my mind. It was kind of like you saw some summer league Knox. Where like, here we go, this play right here. That was it. That's right on cue. Right on cue. Summer league Knox showed his head at some parts of this game. He's starting to come along, man. I think Knox is starting to look a little bit smoother. G. Andresi says it was against trash defenders. Yeah, I mean, listen, you take everything in stride. You take everything with a grain of salt, just like Hezonja's game. But it's really just a confidence thing with me and Knox. Really just a confidence thing. Definitely got to get his hands stronger. You saw Harden pick his pockets a couple times tonight. A couple guys picked his pockets tonight. But that's just them being a veteran and Knox being a rookie. Yeah, defensively, GC, I know that's your gripe, but defensively, he didn't bring much. But, I mean, who did tonight on a night like this? Look at the plus minuses. Minus 33 for Kevin Knox. Minus 35. No, minus 33 for Mitch. Minus 35 for Knox. Minus 30 for Dotson. Oof. Speaking of welcome home Dotson. Dotson really welcome home. He could have built the home with as many bricks as he shot up. 3 for 14. 7 points in Damian Dotson's return to H-Town. Yeah, well, it wasn't a good look tonight for Dotson. It wasn't a good look for the team overall, man. It was really, if you look at any of the silver linings on the Silver Linings show, it was really Hezonja and Knox a little bit, and Mitch. Mitch with a typical Mitch game. So, 3 games left. 3 games left, fellas. That's all we can say, man. 3 games left. Let's go to the phones. Ari's with us. Wants to talk about KD and Kyrie, why they would want to come to New York. Ari, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, CP and JL? How you guys doing?
Yo, it's just me, Ari, man. Solo dolo. Say JL has ditched me tonight, man.
All right. Sorry, I wasn't watching the YouTube, but
yeah, no,
yeah.
No
So, what I think, man. First of all, obviously, Knicks and Houston. Come on, you got to know that's going to be a blowout. Every time the Knicks, if you want to win some money, always take Houston Houston against the Knicks, and always take Toronto. Always take Toronto against the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
We don't win in Toronto and we don't win in Houston, but with this free agency thing, with this free agency thing, man, I think what people are missing the point, and they don't understand why that these guys would come to the Knicks, right? So either people think like, okay, like why would you come to either they're going to come to the Knicks because they're in a big market and they want to win their own ship or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is basically if they don't want to come to the Knicks, it's because the team isn't good, right? And they want to win, so they don't think they can win. Why would you come to a dysfunctional organization?
Right.
So those are the two sides of the argument. But what I think the actual truth is that they especially Kevin Durant. You have to understand, he's been the 2-time Finals MVP. He's led the league in scoring. He's been an All-Star every year. He two-time Finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He's accomplished everything that a basketball player could possibly accomplish, right?
Yep.
And he still feels, and this is the whole thing, he still feels unfulfilled. He doesn't have that sense of fulfillment, like I did this myself, or he still has that one thing. He joined Golden State to win a chip, just like LeBron joined Miami to win a chip.
Right.
But LeBron went back to Cleveland because he didn't feel fulfilled, right? You have to understand, these are the elite athletes. These are the elite athletes of what they do, all right? So for them, they have different, like they have money, they have whatever it is, you know what I mean? These guys, they look unhappy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They look unhappy, and the reason is because they aren't fulfilled to the point they want to be, right? Kevin Durant will get knocked, like think about it right now, CP. CP, seriously, think about it right now. When you think about the best, when you hear the ESPN and Fox and they all talk about the best players in the league, it's like, is LeBron the best player in the league, or is it Giannis, or is it James Harden, Paul George? No one even talks about Kevin Durant, and he is the best player in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that has to be the one thing that he hasn't accomplished, right?
I mean, you might be right, man.
That's why
it would have to be. Why the hell else would he leave probably $50-60 million off on the table and an easy path to more championships in Golden State? It would have to be from a a legacy standpoint. He's just not feeling fulfilled. But
I don't even think it's for. I don't even.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I don't even think it's like he cares about where he's going to rank when he's retired. I think it's coming more from a personal place where he needs to prove it to himself, man. You know what I mean?
Has to be. There's no other reason for him to come here. It's suicide.
That's it.
Like Adrian said to Rocky
when
he went up against Drago. He said it's suicide. You can't win.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's what Max Kellerman was trying to say earlier, but he was just hating. He's just a hater.
Oh, God, I hate Max Kellerman. Don't even want to talk about Max Kellerman right now. But, it's funny because this, I don't know. Do you watch soccer at all or no?
Here and there. I don't know the players like that, like Premier League and stuff. I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't really know the players.
Right. So basically, this exact situation happened. I like soccer. 2 years ago, basically. The best players in the world are Messi and Ronaldo, and the second best player is this Brazilian guy named Neymar.
Yeah, I know Neymar.
He was on Barcelona, which has Lionel Messi. He was on Messi's team, right? And that was like Barcelona's like the Golden State Warriors of soccer.
Yep.
And he decided to leave. To go to Paris.
He went to PSG,
because he wanted another challenge. Yes, he wanted another challenge. That was his whole reason. He wants a challenge to find fulfillment, to see how far he could personally go. This is why Kyrie demanded a trade. I don't think it's about winning chips. I don't think it's about numbers, MVPs. I think it's about these guys on their personal journey to fulfillment and happiness. And I think that's why they're going to come to the Knicks. And that's what I think. I don't know. Am I crazy?
Of course not. Of course not, because there's only one reason why Kevin Durant would want to come here. And it's not for a better chance to win. You know what I'm saying? His best chance to win is clearly staying with Golden State. And it's not the money either, because his best chance at money, a lot more money, is staying with Golden State. And that was one of the things that he said, was also going to be a factor. He said, I never really got that, complete max bag. But then, he goes on other interviews. He goes on other interviews and says, and kind of alludes to, like you said, the challenge and the legacy sort of deal. And CP, the artist in the chat, said, I guess he kind of alluded to that as well on the Knuckleheads podcast with Q Rich and Darius Miles.
Oh yeah, Q Rich.
So as you said, Ari, it seemed like his plan all along was really just to go to Golden State just for a little vacation, a little championship vacation, and then
he needed the chips
and just go on about it, because you about to rack up 3 chips real quick,
right?
Hey, that has to be, man. There's no other reason why you would want to come here. There's no other reason.
It's the parallels to him and LeBron are just so similar. They both needed to win. They went to someplace else. They learned how to win or whatever. They made it happen, and then they went back to prove to themselves, though. It's not to prove to others about their legacy. I think it's more about to prove to themselves that they're the best. And I think that's why he's going to come to the worst team in the league with his buddy. And we're gonna get a top 3 pick. We're gonna get a top 3 pick. We're going to trade DSJ and the 2 Dallas picks for a solid contributor shooter, and we're going to make a good, solid team. DeAndre's going to stay on the mid-level, and we're going to be a contender next year. And I really believe this.
All right, hey, listen, man, I'm all aboard, man. Yeah, I'm all aboard, Ari, man. Appreciate it, bro. Have a good weekend, my dude.
All right, man. Have a good night. Have a good you too, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. That was my guy, Ari. Hey, man, listen. I agree with what he's saying. I agree with what he's saying for now. But a lot could, let me fix my chat up. For some reason, I can't see Jay Ellis's chat for now. So we'll just leave it on Knicks Fan TV chat. But shout out to the Nick of Time show if you guys are watching on there. Wherever you guys are watching from, shout out to everybody on Facebook, everybody on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch. This is Knicks Post Game Live. CP from the Knicks Fan TV. My man JL's from Nick of Time show is not here. This is CP Digital Solo Dolo Hour late night post game. Not really talking about the game because there wasn't much to talk about. So we're talking off-season and news, which is fine because that's what it's all about anyway. So Ari just called and stated his reasons why he thought KD would come to the Knicks. We'll see, man. You know, everybody thinks it's pretty much a signed, sealed, and delivered, done deal. Some guys in the chat say, hey, we'll believe it when I see it. That's where I'm at. I'll believe it when I see it because a lot of things can change. And this quote from Howard Beck, he's saying, rival execs around the league also, echo the same sentiments. But he also said on that same podcast, I believe it was with Rich Eisen or one of them. He also said, listen, KD can change his mind at any second. Because he pointed back to when KD was a free agent with OKC. And he said, even then he was kind of wavering back and forth between OKC and Golden State. And who knew he was going to really just bounce to Golden State? A lot of people didn't even think that. So anything can happen, fellas. Anything can happen, man. Obviously hoping for the best for our sake because I can't watch another 60 losses. So hopefully, things come through. Carlos Martinez, I saw you on the switchboard, man. I was going to plug you in. I don't know what happened. Trying to get my man Carlos Martinez from Australia in the area. Steven Gutierrez, what's going on? Where's everybody from, by the way, man? My man Carlos was checking in from Australia. Just throw your city, throw your hood in the chat. So we could represent you guys. And also any new watchers, new subscribers, hit the hashtag new. So we can shout you guys out, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the suffering. This is Knicks Therapy, where we try to shine some optimism in this thing. Zay, the truth from Long Island. Long Island is special for me. So shout out to Zay. See who else we got in here. Keith Sinclair from Queens. I knew that. Richard Rowe. We already know from Indy. GC, Queens, New Jersey. Christian, what's going on? Gabrielle from Tucson. Shout out to Gabrielle out west. We got a couple people from Arizona that call in. ISO's family's from Arizona as well. I know his mom and his aunt watch the show. HS Kadeem better than Frank. Frank Matos, West Palm. He always throws that out there to let us know he's in the sun and we're in the cold. Peace God, hashtag new. Shout out to Peace God. Bob Chan from Minnesota. Shout out to Bob. Louis from the Bronx. Shout out to Louis. Lee Phillips is on Mars. You gotta be to be a Knicks fan, man. Gotta be to be a Knicks fan. Let's go to LI. Let's go to Will. He wants to talk about Scott Perry and just to kind of segue to that. Appreciate you, Will. You guys kind of helped me segue to my different topics. So let me just open this topic up. And yesterday, Scott Perry and Steve Mills. We can't mention the GM without the president. Ninja P though.
Yeah, but it's really Ninja P.
Ninja P is the focus of this thing. They sent a letter to their season ticket holders, basically just reiterating the plan. The commitment to excellence. The main gist of the letter was that they will not skip steps. And they are diligently working and committed to the mission of bringing a sustainable, competitive, championship-built team to the city. So I appreciated that. I definitely appreciate the steps that they're taking to regain the faith of the fan base. I hope that, he even mentioned, Will, that, he mentioned the trade and how the trade opens up for cap space. I mean, they are very confident in this free agency season, more confident than I've ever seen one talk about. I guess you could kind of compare it to when Donnie Walsh was, open and very open about that 2010 summer LeBron chase. But this one is just like they are very confident, man. But what's your take on this?
You look, you just see it. This is how I feel about it, man.
I want to, like, what does not skipping steps mean? To me, that means, like, we're not going to go for a DeMarcus Cousins. We won't go for a Jimmy Butler. We won't go for the equivalent of a Stoudemire or a Melo
But does it
back in the day where...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. Does it mean... Does it mean we're not going to gut the team for AD if we get Kyrie and KD?
Right.
Does it mean we're not going to go Vucevic and Kemba? You know?
Exactly. What does this stuff mean? Ultimately, I think it's like we're going big or we're going home. If we don't get the top guys in this free agency class, which is KD and Kyrie, we won't settle. We'll just keep the cap space alive. We'll continue to build through the draft. And more, like, as, you know, the stuff about KP and all this other stuff goes wrong, these guys, I mean, maybe it's just me being a Knicks fan, but these guys really get it. Like, Ninja P and Scott Perry are devoted into making this franchise, which has been a laughingstock for so many years, something great that it wasn't. That once again, like, they understand, like, there's people that are 30 years old that have not seen the Knicks, you know, win a championship since they were alive.
Man.
That's
I'm hungry,
insane.
man. I'm hungry, man. But listen, I mean, at the same time, you know, not to diminish his value, but we're the only team in the league that does dumb trades and mortgage the future for nominal gains. You know what I mean? Think about it. Like, none of these teams, none of these teams win. It's still a top-heavy league. But most of these teams bring a disciplined approach to how they build their team. They're not just out trading first-round picks and signing, you know, mid-tier guys to max contract. We do that. You know what I mean? Only we do that.
Yeah, what about the Magic? You know, they really bad. The Suns,
yeah, but they're just bad because
they
they haven't had the right mix of players, and the Suns as well. Suns have been a perennial lottery team. Magic have been a perennial lottery team. You know, you still got to pick the right guys, and you still got to put the right mix of talent.
That's true, but this is the first time we're actually committing to rebuilding, and I think that says a lot in the direction we're going. And ultimately, I just want to leave you on this question: what do you think that means, or what does it mean to you to not skip steps? You know, I'll let you ponder on that, and I'll let you get back to it.
Appreciate you, Will. Right? Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
My Take guy care. Will from LI. I mean, to me, not skipping steps is just that. It's not trading, you know, a first round draft pick for what's a mid-tier guy? You know, a Vucevic of the world. You know, not trading a first-round pick for, you know, I can't even think of, like, just like second-tier guys. You know what I mean? Second, third-tier guys that are not going to move the needle for you, but it's going to set you back if you're sending an unprotected, you know, if you're doing Bargnani deals. You know, that's a skipping step. That's a foolish step. You know, Bargnani type deals where you're giving up unprotected first and 2 second rounders and all this nonsense. You know, trying to get Greg Monroe. I see a lot of people in the chat. Shout out to Dave talking about Greg Monroe. You know, those are just like ridiculous moves. That's just not going to help your team. It's just not going to help your team. So we'll see. You know, like I said, in Ninja P, I trust him. I definitely trust them. And I just like the approach that they're taking. They understand that the fan base is nervous. They're anxious. They want to be confident again. We want to see this team back at the top, man. We want the house to rise again, for sure. And so I like, you know, the direction that they're going in, at least in terms of just trying to assure us that they're semi-confident this night. Stephen Weeks says, what about Devin Booker? I don't see the Suns giving up on Devin Booker. I think they're going to try to build that team around Booker and Ayton. They're looking for a point guard. They're trying to, you know, get a John Morant in the mix. So I don't see Devin Booker being available. John Wall, I don't want to know parts of John Wall. I don't like his attitude. I don't think he's a winning player. And clearly he's not durable. And John Wall is a big mistake. And you saw the Wizards got rid of Ernie Grunfeld, the former Knicks executive. Wizards showed Ernie Grunfeld the door after 16 years with the team. You know, that's going to happen when you're stuck in no man's land, and that's where the Wizards are right now. I wouldn't mind Bradley Beal, depending on the price. I wouldn't mind bringing Bradley Beal in. Stephen Weeks just read my mind. I wouldn't mind bringing Bradley Beal in, man. I would not mind bringing Bradley Beal in. Depending on the price. He's making a lot of money, man. And remember, when you're making these trades for these players, you got to match the salaries. So, in our regard, in the Knicks regard, it could mean parting with, several players just to bring him in. But, food for thought. Bradley Beal. Who knows? Bradley Beal. What do you guys think about Bradley Beal in the chat? What do you guys think about him? From my guys at Knicks Film School, and shout out to everybody in the chat once again. This is Knicks Postgame Live. CP Solo Dolo tonight. CP Digital on this Friday night. Movie. Shout out Stephen Weeks, Max, Michael Kelly, Hustle Music. What's going on? Goonies. What's going on? Ozzy's Robots. I see you. Ricardo Costa. I see you from Uruguay. Shout out Ricardo Costa. CP the artist says we can't afford Beal. I won't lose says pass. Goonie says nah. GC says how much is too much to give up for AD and or Bradley Beal? Well, you got to remember, if you get the first round pick, it's salaries, right? So the first round pick, the number one pick is worth more in salary than the 5. But to a team like, the Pelicans, obviously they're going to want that 1. So you would have to put, say, Knox. I believe when I was talking to Knicks Film School, you would have to put, in an AD trade, you would have to put Knox, DSJ, Frank, the number 1 pick, and maybe even Mitch. And maybe even Mitch. You got to make the salaries work. I'm not trading Mitch, though. Block Ness is here to stay, man. Block Ness is definitely here to stay. Speaking of that, it was announced also earlier today that Mitch, ISO, and Knox will be headed back to the Summer League this summer. And depending who comes on May 14th, it could be a hot ticket, man. That Vegas Summer League could be a hot ticket. I hit up CK2K. I told him that we might have to mob out there and do a little collabo. Go to Summer League and do some content out there. So stay tuned for that. But I'm not trading Mitch. I'm not doing it. He's the closest guy that embodies the spirit of the Knicks. I don't want to trade Mitch. But where's this joint from JB? So here's what JB was saying, and for those of you that don't know, JB from the Knicks Film School, the dude is a cap genius. You know what I mean? The dude is a cap expert. We're definitely gonna have JB back. July 1st is free agency. We'll definitely have JB back over the summer just to break down the cap, run through a couple scenarios, see what's going on with what. So here's what he says about freeing up the space that we need for KD and Kyrie. They're predicting that the cap is going to be set at about $109 million. So what JB says is, he says, if the Knicks waive and renounce everyone except for Mitch, Knox, Frank, and DSJ, they will have anywhere from $71 million if we pick first, because remember the first pick gets more money, to $74 million if we pick 5th. Okay? So he's saying between Durant and Kyrie, we're going to need about $71 million to bring them on. So that is the gamble. Yes, we have the space, but it's once again gutting the team, gutting some pay. I mean, yeah, a lot of these guys are expendable. You guys don't want Moutier back. I get it. I don't want Moutier back. But, you could be coming down to the decision between ISO and Dotson. Because remember, they have an option on ISO's deal. And the thinking is that they could renounce ISO and bring him back on the room exemption, which is at $4.5 million. So you might have to clip Dotson. It probably means Frank is a goner, to be honest. That's probably what that means. It probably means Frank is a goner, because if you can trade Frank, it frees up another $4 million in cap. With that $4 million, you can, if you're trying to win now, because see, this is the thing. When you're bringing in a KD and a Kyrie, yes, we're not skipping steps, but you can't be stuck in the middle of like a rebuild and a win now. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to win. So you have to think with that $4 million that you're going to have to give to Frank, is that $4 million that you can give to a guy who is a defender, a wing defender who we're going to need, a perimeter defender who we're going to need, who is a bit more advanced than Frank at this stage. I'm just saying, I don't know. You guys be the judge. You might have him. Frank might have to get clipped. So, even though we have that space, it's still going to be a couple of decisions that's going to have to be made in terms of how you build that roster around the potential acquisition of a Kyrie Irving and a Kevin Durant. It's not just adding them to what we have here. Some guys are going to have to go. And they're going to have to get creative with a couple guys, And that's why I harken back to like a Mario. Listen, I understand the limitations of a Mario Hezonja. I get it, Not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Not the best defender. But what I see in a Mario Hezonja, I see a flexibility. I see a player who, in a positionless basketball style of play, a guy that can give a team a lift off the bench. You saw that tonight. It seems like he is more effective with the ball in his hands. I mean, we saw that tonight in Mario's performance. But I say that to say he might not have that big of a market. He might not have that big of a market in the offseason. So when you're thinking about bringing players back on minimal deals, that might be a guy that you want to bring back, if not for the sake of continuity. Like, we can't keep flipping over the roster, flipping. We got to try to build with some players. Everybody's not going to be a lockdown defender. Everybody's not going to be a facilitating point guard. Some guys are going to have roles to fill, and strengths that other guys aren't. So, I'm not saying Mario's this, that, and the third, but I'm saying I think from an offensive standpoint, I think he's very young, and I think he can be a little bit of a Swiss Army knife from the offensive end. Obviously, you need his defense to come around, because he is the Matador in Matador D. But you still need around that the team of role players, man. Let's go to Carlos from Australia. He's back with us. He wants to talk about the offseason. Carlos, what's going on, mate?
Hey, CP, how are you, mate?
How are you, man? How's everything, man? Finally get to connect, man. How's everything, bro?
Yeah, good. So I'm using an app that pretty much gives you a USA number. Okay. And then you can screen the calls from there. So it's a good app.
Sounds good, man.
I won't give any publicity.
all good.
Anyway.
Good. Yeah.
So what are first of all, I got from good tip that the FBI and the CIA are going to raid the Knicks offices for the robbery of Robinson.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. That was Ninja P's. That was a steal from Ninja P. Mitchell Robinson, the number 36 pick in the draft. He's a keeper, man. I want this kid here. I want this kid to be a Knick. Build a team with Mitch in mind, man.
That is true. Now the other thing is, I'm thinking the GM and the front office of the Knicks are going to have immense pressure from the media to get the offseason on an A+.
Pressure is on,
and that's going to be that's going to be. I don't want to be in that office. That's going to be a few sleepless nights.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, man. But hey, this is what it's all about here, man.
That's it. But the problem is, I don't, and I think you mentioned this earlier. Don't want them to sort of succumb to the pressure of you have to sign someone just because we couldn't get KD or Kyrie, for example. Just keep it simple, and if you have to stay on plan. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think again that's what the Perry letter to the season ticket holders was all about. It was just letting people know that yes, they're confident in the offseason, but they're not going to just throw the money away just on anything. He said it's going to go to players who are committed to bringing the Knicks a championship, more or less. He didn't necessarily say, it's KD, Kyrie, or, these are just, championship caliber players. But he basically said in lesser words that they're only going to bring the cream of the crop or that's it. We keep it pushing.
That's it. And last thing, just want to say hello to everyone on the Knicks Nation. Just keep in mind, we hopefully next year, before you guys close the borders, I want to get in. So.
Hey, man, you're in. You're officially indoctrinated into the family, Carlos. Calling all the way from Australia, man. Gotta appreciate the dedication. What time is it over there, by the way, man?
Well, it's Saturday morning, so that's why I can actually call, because now I'm not working. Saturday morning, it's 11 a.m. on the Saturday.
There you go, man. There you go. Yeah, good to hear from you, man. Appreciate the call. Definitely appreciate the support, man. Definitely.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, man. Anytime. Thanks.
All right, man. That was my guy, Carlos, from down under, the land down under, Australia. It's dope, man. It's dope when you have international callers. People from all over the place, man. We saw people from Indiana's in the chat, New Jersey, Florida. It's great, man. Arizona, it's great, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up and the notification bell, and share these videos with your fellow Knicks fan. Those are the three primary ways to support me, support Jay Ellis, support the movement right now, because we want more of you guys in here. So the more you hit the thumbs up, the more you subscribe, and the more you share, the more people that come in. YouTube promotes the videos, and that's just it, man. So we bring more people into the land of suffering. Bring more people into the land of suffering. Let's hear what this clown, Balad's Cruz, welcome to the nation. You guys were talking about this bum Max Kellerman. Let's hear what this idiot had to say.
So what you're saying is the financial success, that's you and the shareholders, and the competitive lousiness,
this guy, Max Kellerman.
They're owned by the shareholders, and I'm the majority shareholder. Got it, Dolan. So what you're saying is the financial success, that's you and the shareholders, and the competitive lousiness, the competitive your utter failure, miserable, and what must feel like humiliating failure in terms of the competitive product seems to go very well together. It's not a public trust. It's your ability to bilk the public out of money. Kevin Durant wants to put himself in that position where he's going to be facing a hostile press from day one. Stephen A., if he wants to go to New York, go to Brooklyn, where they have a good thing
Go to
going,
Brooklyn.
where the whole press doesn't hate the team because they haven't alienated that press for the last several decades. Where there's a team on the rise.
All right, I'm done with this. I'm done with this, man. You guys were able to hear that, right? Just let me know. You guys got to make sure my audio is good sometimes. Sometimes I'm not sure. This guy's a hater, man. I can't. I used to have a lot of respect for Max Kellerman. I used to be a big fan of his radio show. As soon as he took over for Skip Bayless on this show, the thing about Skip Bayless is that, like, he plays a better antagonist role. Like, Skip Bayless, to me, in my opinion, some of you guys might not like him. I don't watch that show. Shannon Sharp is my dude. I definitely like Shannon Sharp, and Shannon Sharp cracks me up. But to me, I feel like Skip Bayless perfected that, opposite viewpoint, that antagonistic viewpoint that makes people want to watch him more. But then you have guys like Max Kellerman and especially Nick Wright. I noticed the two of them, even Chris Carter to a certain extent. Like, they don't do a good job at it. You know what I'm saying? They come off more like, yeah, this ain't it, man. This ain't it. You know, and Kellerman is just like, yo, get off of it, man. Even my man Pete Rock, the legendary Pete Rock, had to come for him. Check out Pete Rock's tweet. He says, Max Kellerman, I'm a Knicks fan. Realize something good comes our way. Somebody's always diverting them away with negative talk. Spot on, Pete Rock. Somebody's always coming with negative talk about us when something positive is coming, man. Dolan will never sell the team, he says. He will keep New York miserable, but knock off the negative talk and let the guys make their own decisions. You know? Shout out my guy Pete Rock, man. I hope I could get Pete Rock on the show. I'm gonna try to get Pete Rock on the show during the offseason, man. He's a diehard Knicks fan. Pete Rock is a diehard Knicks fan, man. Keith Sinclair said, Skip is watchable. Kellerman is a bum. I don't watch First Take. I only catch Skip and Shannon for Shannon Sharp's takes that come around on Twitter. I don't listen to Skip Bayless because I already know what his angle is, you know. And I watch my show, man. I don't watch anybody else's show. I watch my show. I don't need to hear anybody else talking about Katie and Kyrie. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, man, because it's about us, you know. Those guys are trying to sell ratings. We just here to talk. Let's go to L.I. Zay from L.I. wants to talk about Fizz and the shout out to show. Zay, what's good, man?
Yo, what's good?
Yo, you got to take me on speakerphone, bro, please.
Oh, my bad.
You good?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Hello? I told Zay turn off the speakerphone. I thought he hung up completely, man. Zay, call back, man. Oz from North Carolina. He wants to talk about free agency and tampering. Oz, what's going on, man?
What's up, CP? How you doing, man?
Good. How you feeling, bro?
Good. You know, I grew up in New Rochelle.
Okay.
And when Scooter and Rodney McRae were balling there, and Jeff Rulin, and I met Oakley when he had all the Oakley car washes.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Mall. Yeah, he is a big dude. He's a big dude. I just wanted to say, and I've met Clyde a few times. I absolutely love him, man. He's like the
Me
best.
too, man. Love Clyde, man.
Listen, yeah, he's a gentleman. He's an absolute gentleman. I have a question for you, CP.
Sure.
Do you think that LeBron and Bosh knew they were going to go to Miami before it was announced?
Yeah. I think they planned that way before.
Yeah, and that's what my gut says too.
Yeah, I think it was in the bag.
So do you think, like, if, let's say it's Kyrie and KD are going to sign here, that there's some back channel that they could let the Knicks know? Because, you know, when you put up that stuff about, like, the Knicks would have to renounce all those guys, right, to fit them in the cap. I mean, it's kind of scary to think they would do that if they don't have, like, some kind of guarantee that these guys are going to come, right? Because now you're going to give away a lot of play. And Frank, you never know. Frank still could develop into something.
You're right. I don't want to necessarily get rid of Frank, and that's not a popular opinion with the chat. But I just feel like I feel like Frank can help this team. I want Frank to grow up with this team. I just don't know if they're gonna have enough patience to try to develop Frank when you can get somebody better than him, a better defender and a more offensive, capable player for his salary at that $4 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a perimeter defender. He's when he's on his game, he's one of the better Knicks defenders.
Yeah,
and they need some defense. Obviously.
They do. They definitely gonna need a wing defenders for sure, 100%.
Yeah. So that was my thing is, do you think that the Knicks will know ahead of time through the grapevine, so this way they could even draft accordingly? You know, because so many dominoes have to fall into place. It's a lot of dominoes, man. Before you put together.
Yeah, it's a lot of dominoes, Oz, for sure, man, because it's like, where do we pick in the draft? If it's not Zion at 1, is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? You know, if it's 2 or 3, Is John Morant still in play, or are you definitely gonna go
Right.
RJ, or are you gonna go Culver? Like hopefully they would know at that point. Like, is it Kyrie? Is it KD? What are they gonna do? So it can kind of help the draft. If they go out at number
Right,
2 and
and
they
do you
draft
think, like,
RJ Barrett, then you might think that it's Kyrie's for sure. I don't know though. It depends on who they, between Kyrie and between RJ Barrett and John Morant. I don't know who they like better at this point.
Well, I'm just, my only question really was, like, do you think that KD and let's say it's KD and Kyrie that were going to come here, that they would let somehow the Knicks know, and they'd say, and once they find out, like, look, you're drafting second, this is who we want. Like, in other words, they would get together and talk about it amongst themselves, and then let somehow the Knicks management know, look, this is who we want you guys to draft.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think the decision is going to come down to Perry, Mills, and a little bit of Fizdale, right? They're going to want to see how they want to build a team. You would hope that, through back channels. It just seems, and I just hate like talking like this, but even between what Dolan is saying, in between the league-wide speculation, Dolan went on Michael K's show and was like, well, I heard we're going to have a really good offseason free agency-wise. Everybody's confident that this is happening, man. Everybody's confident that this is happening. So you would hope that, they would take these guys into consideration when building the team. But I think the draft and everything is really going to come down to what they want to do. But if they know for sure that Kyrie Irving is coming, then it's basically, okay, between, Culver, RJ Barrett, maybe a DeAndre Hunter, if they like him at that light, they'll consider those guys if they don't get the number 1 pick.
Awesome.
You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking a call, and thanks for the info, man.
Appreciate it.
And you have a great show. Everyone's lucky that you have it on there, man. So keep the faith, man.
Hey, man, that's why I'm here, man. That's all I got, Oz. That's all I got, man. Thanks for the support, and have a good weekend, man.
You too. Peace out, bro.
Hey, that's all we got, Knicks Nation, man. All we got is faith in this thing. That's why I'm here on a Friday. Like, look at the backdrop behind me, man. The dunk. Bernard, I miss Bernard's era. I wasn't really cognizant of basketball during Bernard era. The dunk is what, like, that was Knicks Bulls. Like, that's what really, like, plugged me in, like the Matrix. You know what I mean? And then Houston Spree, Camby, of course. That was prime days. And then I got Shaq and Ewan on the back. I got this bum behind me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that corner. I gotta get something new for that corner because I don't even know if you guys can make out what that is back there, but you don't want to know. It's not welcome here. I should have taken that down a long time ago, but I've just been lazy and I wanted to kind of keep the aesthetic of the room. But I gotta get that Porzingis thing down immediately. I might as well put it. I'm better off for the Jeremy Lin joint back there. I don't know. But to Oz's point with LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, I definitely thought that was planned a long time before. They didn't just come together randomly. But a lot of people criticize that team for whatever the case, and the LeBron haters will be the LeBron haters. But give those guys credit for taking less money to play together and to be able to still afford pivotal pieces to those championship runs. Mike Miller, Shane Battier, Ray Allen. Who else do they have good role players on there? They still had Haslam and those guys like that, but they still had to round out the team with those vets, those key vets, that came through in some of those pivotal games, and they took less money to play together, man. I would love to see KD and Kyrie do the same. If they do intend to come here, I would love to see them take less, man, so that we could really truly build a contender and not just a first or second round flame out. Because if they don't do that, it's going to put a lot of stress on them regardless. So you might as well, it's going to be a lot of stress on them to deliver, to perform every night, to ensure we're not going on any losing streaks. They got to do the same thing, man. They got to do the same thing, like CP the artist said. They got to take less. But you know, I hate jumping the gun, like planning for them. But I don't know, man. This is more confidence than I've seen even with Summer or LeBron. And I was highly confident. I was kind of Bugatti said I got the pick of the guy who stole the Jordan slides back there. Yeah, I'm still hanging on to Porzingis' dreams, man. I got to get rid of it. Man. And I still got Porzingis on my banner on my YouTube channel. I got to change all that, man. I've been lazy, but who cares about Porzingis, man? It's all about the orange and blue. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy on the Solo Dolo CP Digital. Friday night Knicks. Shout out to everybody who called, man. We heard from some good callers. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go back to Zay. Zay's calling in. Hopefully he's back this time. Zay, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and perfect, Zay. What's going on, bro?
Okay, all right. Just wanted to give a shout out to y'all show and appreciate it.
Appreciate it, bro.
I wanted to call in the last couple times, but I've been kind of busy, so I just been like,
oh, good.
You know,
Watching
watching it. You know, giving the thumbs up, and I know I watched a couple of shows and people been going in on Fizz. I think when management from James Dolan all the way down, everyone dialed out for this season already.
Yeah.
So I can't expect the players and him to even like really give it their all if they're already looking towards next season. You know,
True.
Like how do you expect people to like really go hard and play hard for you if they're already talking about the draft and talking about free agency and talking about next season already? So
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, people go hard at Coach Fizz, but everybody died out. James Dolan all the way down to the even Tower Boy. I think they all just waiting for next year.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of right in that, you know, the whole atmosphere is kind of funny. It's kind of a tricky thing because, you know, you have, number one, you had so much transition, right? You had guys on expiring deals. You brought in guys on 1-year deal. You make the Porzingis trade. You know, I'm sure as an organizational collective, we know that the focus is on this offseason. You know that the focus is on the draft. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to get any sort of continuity when, number one, you're dealing with a bad roster already. And on top of that, you're dealing with a bad roster that's in flux, in transition. You know, at the same time,
Yeah.
Fizz been doing some kind of like clunky things, man. Like the constant rotation changes up until damn near All-Star break was like head scratching. You know, his public relations could use a little bit of work. The defensive schemes, yes, I understand. Again, I understand the rosters is G League at times. The offensive schemes, you know, there's certain things that you hope gets tweaked next year, and hopefully an influx of talent will also make him look a little bit better.
Yeah. And I feel you on that. And I also want to talk about KD coming to the Knicks. I really want KD to come. I feel like he's like the best player in the league right now. He's not getting enough credit for what he's done because everybody knows.
So you take him over the Greek Freak? Because that boy Freak is killing right now, man. That boy Freak is killing.
For long term, I'm telling you, if KD came to the Knicks, I think the Knicks could be a solid second seed in the East. Because if Kawhi don't stay at the Raptors and the 76ers don't stay together and the Pacers just bring back Oladipo, who really could compete with KD in the East besides the Bucks?
I mean, see, when I look at these teams, the Bucks are nice, man. The Bucks are nice, man. I got to look at that. I got to take a good look at them against Philly last night. And they're making a run. First of all, Budenholzer, give it up to Budenholzer again, because this Bucks team is close to winning 60 games, if I'm not mistaken. I got to double check. Let me check the standings in the East. But yo, I mean 59-20, and this team finished The Bucks finished as a 7th seed last year, 44-38. So they're already about to surpass that by at least 15, 16 games, their win total from last year. You know, so you got to give credit to the coach for that. Obviously, Giannis's matriculation and maturity has a lot to do with that as well. But they're building the team solid. George Hill seems like he's becoming the X factor like he was on those Pacer teams back when, you know, Paul George and Lance was running with them. George Hill was a good acquisition for them. Brooke Lopez, Middleton, you know, Bucks are playing good ball, man. So to answer your question, I kind of diverted giving them credit, but you know the Bucks are gonna be good. The Sixers, depending on what happens with Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris next year, the Sixers could still be lingering. The Raptors, depending on what they do with Kawhi Leonard, you know.
Well, this is a big free agency, and I feel like a lot of those players, they might not want to stay where they at. And if a lot of those players jump ship, I feel like if the Knicks get, if they get Kyrie and KD, and then you add a top 3 pick, I feel like we're a top 3 seed automatically in the East.
You need Zion. Need Zion.
Yeah, we do need Zion.
Need Zion. Because like I said, man, we just saw what type of roster we're going to be looking at and how we got to build this thing. And, you know, the thing about those other teams, even the Pacers, even the Raptors, even the Bucks, even the Sixers, they have depth. They have depth, and the depth is what's going to help you make that playoff push. You know, you can't just do 82 games of KD to Kyrie and sprinkle in a little knocks here and, you know, maybe whatever the draft pick can give you.
I feel like we got 5 players on our team right now. I feel like we could grow to, like, really good players right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel 5. With Zoe, Mitch, Knox, and then Dotson, and who's the last person? I don't really know. Maybe DSJ as a backup point guard.
Now we'll see if I'm getting Kyrie, I'm trying to package DSJ to get either a wing defender, another shooter, another 3-point shooter, another capable third scorer, depending on how Knox.
I feel like if we get Kyrie, we should keep Frank though, because I feel like where Kyrie isn't really known for his defense, Frank can help him out.
Need defense, big time.
He could help him out on the defensive end, and he could distribute the ball better than I feel like Kyrie, you know? Because Kyrie, he likes to play shooting guard more than I feel like he play point guard.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we were to do that, you know, we should keep Frank if we're definitely getting Kyrie.
You need some sort of defense.
Them together to fill in the gaps, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, you need some sort of defense. There's no point in keeping DSJ if you're going to bring Kyrie Irving here. You got to use him as a chip to get, like I said, either some more defense or some more 3-point shooting. If you're just gonna have Mitch out there as a center, you're gonna need a backup center. You're gonna need some more bigs. You know what I mean? You might try to bring Vonleh back on the cheap. You know, he might have brought his value down a little bit by not playing that as much in the second half. So a lot of decisions, man. A lot of decisions.
Yeah, this is a big year. This is a big off season for the Knicks.
Yes, sir.
This will make and break how the season is going to be for the next couple of years. So I'm just I wish nothing but the best.
Hey, me and you both, man.
I know, like this show. I know when we do finally get in the winning brackets. I know your show's going to blow up. It's going to be Lynn Sandy and Knicks tape all over again. And I wish y'all nothing but the best. And keep hope alive, right?
I hope so, man. Yeah, man. Well, you know, you part of the family now, man. So you got to call in, man, when we get some more wins.
Yeah, I do be calling in, man. I try to show my support, you know, preach about the Knicks, you know.
Of course. Yeah, man. Appreciate it, Zay. Have a good weekend, bro.
Right.
That was my man Zay from Long Island calling in. Yeah, man. Like I said, I think, you know, stacking up how you would stack them up against those teams, you still got to build your depth, man. You still got to build your depth. This team still needs defenders. This team still needs 3-point shooting badly. Need some shooters big time. So, We'll see how that goes. Once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Welcome to all new watchers. A couple of things. The Twitter group. My man Carlos called in from Australia. He's in the Twitter group. If you guys want to join the Twitter DM group, just a way for us to extend the conversation. It's a great time that keeps the chat going after the show. Just share this video with hashtag postgameNYK, and we'll put you into the Twitter group, the Twitter DM group. And that's been going strong so far, man. Once again, Knicks get completely washed by the Rockets, 120-96. I'm gonna just give you my screen. I don't know what the hell happened to my screen. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go with the box score. Quick ratings. Listen, this was a terrible, atrocious game to begin with. So, in terms of my player ratings, man, I can't even say star, but honorable mention of commendable performances. We'll go with my guy Kevin Knox at the 3. He scored. I don't know what happened to my stat thing here. Let's go back here. My fault. Kevin Knox tonight scored 13 points, 5 boards, 5 of 14 shooting. So wasn't a good shooting night for Knox, but I just think overall I see Knox trending up. I see an uptick on Knox in the offensive end. I see him more aggressive. I see him more intentional with his moves. I see him just playing strong, just playing confident out there. Shooting the J a little bit better. Tonight wasn't that good. Orlando was a much better showing. And had a couple and ones as well. Need to work on his free throws. 2 for 7 on the night. Got to work on your free throws, man. But either way, I'll give Knox the 3rd. Second, I'm going with Money Mitch. 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. Thought he took the challenge, the Capella challenge, as well as he could. Certainly showed that he could play out there with the big boys. Another efficient night for the Block Nest Monster. 26 or 27 straight games now with multiple blocks. So, and we all know in that regard, he's in rare company with Shaquille O'Neal, Manute Bol, David Robinson, and I forgot who the other guy was, but that's Mitch in rare company. And then top player tonight was Mario, man. We put Mario at the starting point guard. And hey, listen, we got washed, man. I'm not trying to put no silver linings on this thing, but Mario Hezonja with a triple-double. Mario Hezonja with a triple-double tonight. 16 points, 16 rebounds, 11 dimes. Like I said, I think Mario showed that he plays a lot more comfortable with the ball. So maybe that's something that, is food for thought. Maybe, like I said, you're going to have to round out this roster next year on some cheap minimal deals. He's already said, hey, listen, I want to stay in New York. A lot of guys say that until it's time to, sit at the bargaining table. But, he could be a guy that you could look to bring back on the cheap if the market for his services isn't that great. You can still use him to kind of round out your roster there. So those are my 3 guys. Overall, I thought everybody else was pretty much terrible. Dotson, terrible on his homecoming. 7 points, 3 for 14. He was just lost out there, a little bit too anxious. Ellington had some good stats in garbage time, but that was about it. Luke really didn't do much. Jenkins Billy Garrett whatever. A lot of that was in trash time. DeAndre didn't play, and Moutier didn't play. Moutier did not play. So that's pretty much it, man. Knicks come back home on Sunday. I will be at the game. Knicks versus Wizards. I'll be at the Knicks versus Wizards game. So you can catch me pregame, halftime, and postgame. Just stay on the channel, and I'll have some footage from MSG for you guys. I'll be at that game, and then I'll be at the last home game, which is against the Pistons. Me and Jay Ellis will do the show from MSG on April 10th. And that will be courtesy of NBA Playmakers. Shout out my partners, NBA Playmakers, for bringing us to the game. All right, let's go back to the phones. Who we got here? And shout out to everybody once again. Hit that subscribe button for your boy. Let's go to Ballard from BK. He wants to talk about bringing back players like Mario and Moutier. Ballard, what's your reasoning here, man?
Man, first thing I want to say is that I hope Knicks fans don't get too overzealous with this free agency. Don't set yourselves up. I would focus more on what we can really control in-house, which is developing players. And part of that is that I think Moutier, Vonleh, and Hezonja, they're still young, and they still have a lot to offer, especially with Hezonja. You know, he could possibly be a ball handler for us next year, but Moutier is shooting 45% from the field and averaging almost 15 points a game. Yeah. Vonleh's been a good player for us, and I feel like we can bring those guys up, continue to develop them. It'd be great for the culture, you know, going into this year's draft. We can get. I have a feeling we're going to end up with the 4th or 5th pick. If we can get a guy like Bobo to put next to Mitchell, that'd be such a great compliment. Or a big dick shoot, stretch out.
Yeah, but Bobo just concerns me with the injury, man. That's the thing, man. With his size, and build, with his frame, I'm just concerned about that, man. I don't know. I hear you guys. You know, he sounds like he's promising, but I don't know. I'm just not comfortable with that. I'm just not comfortable, man.
Yeah, you think it's Porzingis all over again?
That's what I'm saying, and even Mitch. Like I was concerned with Mitch all year with them nagging injuries, and Mitch seemed like when he come down on a foot the wrong way, you gotta pray, because you know those guys are just built that way.
And also, this draft is very deep for people who've been. Like that second round, the Knicks can get their hands on a guy like T.J. Washington or Nazir Reed or even Jalen Hands. You know, Scott Perry. You know, the guy's been doing really good with getting development. But I just don't. I'm one of those Knicks fans. I'm not trying to get overzealous about this free agency thing. You know.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
I'm more.
The overconfidence is kind of making me nervous as well. You know, I don't want to. You know, I want to be prepared for the worst. You know, be prepared for a 5th pick and no free agents, because it could happen. It could happen, but even still, I don't want to, because Moutier's going to, number one, Moutier, the cap hold on Moutier is about $12 million. You don't want to do that going forward long term. But this team seems to really like him. This organization, this management team, they like Moutier. No doubt about it. They like Moutier. So I get what you're saying. These guys are young, Moutier, Hezonja, Vonleh, but you can't bring all of them back. Because now you're really tying your cap space up for the future, and you just can't do that. You know, so some of these guys got to roll, unfortunately. And, you know, maybe they catch on with other teams. But, you know, earlier this season, a lot of us had liked Vonleh to come back. I don't know how many people like Moutier to come back. Maybe just you. You know what I mean? But I can listen. I mean, listen. In fairness, he's had his best season as a Knick. Clearly, the coach likes him. He's had some ups and downs. He had some flashes, but I'd rather move in another direction, to be honest.
I hear you. I just feel like it's probably the best point guard we've had all season.
All right, well, hey, Mario Hezonja might have something to say about that, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? Mario Hezonja might have something to say.
Yeah, you know, I thought he got drafted as a point guard coming from Orlando. It was very weird to see that he's been a forward since he's been in the NBA.
Yeah, more of a point forward type. But like I said, it seems like that's where his comfort zone is, because certainly off the ball he hasn't made any impact on this team, but on the ball he seems like, you know, he's holding it down, even though he got scrubbed out.
So my question is, if you end up with the 4th or 5th pick, who are you taking? Because I feel like that's what we're going to end up with. I think everybody's getting excited. Zion Williamson, all this. And I already know as a Knick, we never have luck. So
yeah,
who are you taking with the 4th or 5th pick?
4th or 5th at this stage, I mean, you got to hope that either RJ or Culver drops. So that's, if you're going Zion 1, Ja 2, likely it's going to be RJ 3. So then you're hoping Culver drops to you at 4. You know what I'm saying?
You get stuck with Cam Reddish.
I mean, I don't know if I may even look at Brandon Clark over Cam Reddish at this point. from what I've seen in the tournament, I'm just going off of what I've seen in the tournament. I kind of like Brandon Clark's motor a lot better. I think he's definitely much more of a gamer than Reddish, at this point. But
and you're just worried about Bobo.
Yeah, Bol, having not played this whole season and already out with that foot, them foot and knee injuries with the big men, it never ends well, man. Never ends well. Never ends well, but we never know. You never know at the same time, because look at Embiid. I didn't think Embiid was ever going to come back to be half the player he is now, and now it seems like everything is all good with him, and he's at the top of his game.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to last more than 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way he plays too. He plays real up tempo. And also pounds the rock as well. So it's a lot of wear and tear on you.
Like he reminds me of guys like Roy Herbert, guys that come in and just dominate. The next thing you know, they're back out on them. They can't do it anymore.
Roy Hibbert not even in the league no more, man.
Nope, he's retired. He's retired. Yep, he's retired.
Roy Hibbert not even in the league, man.
It was great talking to you, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Continue doing the show. Maybe, hopefully next year we do end up with somebody. If I have my choices of free agents next year, I'll take Kawhi Leonard and Kemba. I just feel like that they have a different flair that fits New York, and I don't know if Kyrie and KD would be really committed to come here. But thank you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Ballard or Ballad?
One.
Ballad. Okay. All right, Ballad, man. Appreciate you, bro. And that was Ballad. And Ballad, man, I don't know if you want to go into the chat, man. The chat was killing you, man. Ballad said he wanted to bring Moutier back. The chat was having nightmares, man. Let me check and make sure everybody's still with us. Let me make sure the chat is still going, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again. Post game live. CP on the solo dolo. CP Digital. Check out this comment from Fizdale. This is stuff from Fizdale that, like, you love Fizdale, and Daily News website is filled with advertisements, man. They must be struggling to make money, man. Golly, look at all these advertisements on the Daily News website. What is this, man? This looks like World Star Hip Hop. Here's what Fizdale had to say about Moutier. Because people's wondering what happened to Moutier. He said, "We had to sit him for this one. I couldn't risk him. I think about these guys' careers from the standpoint of we're not going to the playoffs. This kid has now established himself and put himself in position to have an offseason where multiple teams are going to want to talk to him. Multiple teams are going to want to talk to him. Multiple teams are going to want to talk to him. I don't want to risk that after he's done so much to get to where he is with the shoulder and the hamstring. We all thought it was just better, and it's the right thing to do to give him a game off. Multiple teams are going to want to be interested in him." That's where it's like with Fizz. Like, all right, Fizz, man. Okay, Fizz. Come on, son. Remember when "come on, son" was like the hot term? You got to bring that back. Like, all right, Fizz. But, at the same time, career highs in points per game, 14.8. Field goal percentage, 45%. Moutier, listen, this is the best year of Moutier's career. Let's be honest, Is it indicative of his future? No. But it is his best year of his career, for sure. So, I'll let you guys be the judge on that one, but I just had to, we got to inject a little bit of comedy into the show to lighten things up a little bit. Lighten things up a little bit. So, clearly, you see, everybody's been wondering what Fizdale's allegiance to Moutier, what the big deal about Moutier is. Well, you see it. It's not a fluke, man. It's not a fluke, Crooklyn X said, guy said multiple China teams. Multiple overseas teams, says H. Quiet Money, please Fizz, spare us with the bad comedy. Stephen Weeks, Moutier's high priority. Listen, man, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's too rich for our blood. All right, we'll wrap it up with Ernesto from Miami. He wants to talk about free agency. Ernesto, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, CP. Thank you for asking, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Despite the loss, just looking forward to the end of the season, man.
So as far as free agency goes, who are your two main targets? Are you with the KD and Kyrie, or if you could have any two free agents, which two would it be?
KD and Clay or KD and Kawhi Leonard? More probably KD and Kawhi Leonard.
If you're the GM and you have the choice of any of the two major free agents,
yeah,
who are your top two?
KD and Kawhi Leonard. Definitely.
That's the way to go. Absolutely.
Give me KD and Kawhi Leonard.
And I'll roll with Allen as my point guard.
Yeah. Or you try to get one in the draft, or you try to, you have leverage. Or maybe you want to roll with DSJ, or do you want to package DSJ or get somebody else, But I want to go with the best offensive player in the game and the best defensive player in the game, and a pretty damn good offensive right? Two-way player, and the best two-way player in the game.
Two-way players on max contract, man. That's the way to go.
Yeah, give me that. I wouldn't. I would not close the door on that. Because remember the original rumor when Kawhi Leonard was trying to lead the Spurs was that he was trying to come to a big market. Now, does that mean he wants that? Does that mean the Clippers are in play if he goes back home, or the Lakers in play? I don't know, or the Knicks in play. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows what Kawhi Leonard's thinking.
I think everybody's bailing on LeBron, man. Nobody wants to team up with LeBron and beat the second wheel.
Yo, poor LeBron. Even LeBron's like, yeah, man, people want to play with me. Don't worry about it, man. I don't know, LeBron, man.
No, and he's on the decline already, yo. So, I mean, he's going to get all the credit. He's on the decline, and nobody wants to be the second and the third wheel.
I'm telling you, man, they're going to treat LeBron like a damn cheap suit. They got to treat LeBron like a cheap suit, man. I'm telling you, the blatant slander of LeBron James is so crazy that I'm telling you, man, when he's on the decline, y'all are going to trash this dude, man. Trash this dude. I'm telling you.
And I got another one for you. If we get the second pick, who you taking? And you don't know for sure if Kyrie's coming.
Yeah, I'm going John Morant.
I mean, you have Morant is on the board.
I'm going Morant.
Are you going to take Morant?
Definitely.
You going Morant?
Yeah, definitely.
That's gonna be a tough one, man, for the Knicks.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a tough one
because if they know for sure Kyrie's coming, I mean, that's gonna tell you something. If on draft night we pick second and they pass on Morant, that tells you.
Yeah, that's gonna tell you.
That tells you a lot.
That's gonna tell you a lot. That's gonna tell you a lot, Ernesto. For real, man. For real, bro. Yeah, I agree with you, man.
Yeah, well, shout out to the chat. I'm gonna miss the show. I'm gonna miss you guys when the season's over.
Oh no, we're not going nowhere, man. I'll be here, bro. No, I'll be here, man. I got a lot of stuff for the channel, man. We got so this is April now. We got last night of the season. We're gonna give away the jacket for statement games. We got the lottery show on May 14th where we're gonna give away 2 tickets to the draft on statement games. We're going to have some guests on to talk about the draft. We'll have Spencer back. We'll get Tommy Beer back. We're going to get Moke Hamilton. Trying to get Alan Hom. Trying to get a lot of guys on. So now we're gonna be here doing live streams. It'll just be a little bit less frequent, probably like once a week, just to keep tabs on what's going on.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right, that's what's up, man.
All right, man. Have a good weekend, bro.
Thanks for everything you do.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Shout out to Nick Nation out there, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Ernesto was signing us off like we ain't going nowhere. Yeah, we ain't going nowhere, man. The content don't stop, Ernesto. This is the one-stop shop for all things Knicks. And so I told you, it's the #1 post-game show on social media for the Knicks fan, by the Knicks fan. Yo, I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, man. 10,000. It means a lot, man. To just be talking Knicks, doing something right, man. I don't know what it is. Doing something right. So that's why I need you guys' support, man. Share these videos. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. Some of you guys watch every day and haven't hit that subscribe button yet. You got to hit that subscribe button. It's right there. Right? It's right there. right below this video, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 10,000. I was trying to get there before the season ended. That was a bit lofty of a goal. But nevertheless, I say that to say it's a movement going on right now. And when this team gets back to the promised land, it's only going to get better. So I appreciate you guys for supporting for sure. A couple more things. You know, tomorrow's a Final Four. So make sure you catch it. You got draft prospects in play. You got Virginia and Auburn. DeAndre Hunter. That's tomorrow, 6:09 Eastern Time. And then you got right after that, Texas Tech, Michigan State. It's two good games. Texas Tech, you got Jared Culver out there against Michigan State. That's at 8:50 Eastern. So two good Final Four games. And that should be good. So definitely don't miss that. Here's an interesting one. They said Zion could bag a $10 million a year shoe deal. They said a Chinese brand is involved. I don't know. It could be Li Ning. Remember D-Wade was rocking the Li Nings? I'm sorry, man. Ain't no amount of money in the world Zion is rocking no Chinese shoe deal. He busted out of his Nikes as Paul George. You think he's going to downgrade to a lesser known brand? I think Zion's going to Nike. I think Zion been with Nike from probably the time he was in 7th, 8th grade. I think that deal is already done. I think he goes to Nike. But they say that Sonny Vaccaro, who, if you guys don't know, Sonny Vaccaro was the man that got Michael Jordan his shoe. He was a big time on the AAU circuit, big time shoe and marketing and shoe executive for the brands, go-between. Probably got his hands dirty, if you know what I mean. But Sonny Vaccaro thinks Zion's shoe deal will rank top 3 athlete endorsements. So be on the lookout. I still think it ends up being Nike, man. It's Zion, man. You got to go Nike, man. The best of the best go Nike, you know? Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, even though Kobe started with Adidas, the Crazy Eights. I didn't really rock too much Adidas. I was like a Nike like program head. You know what I'm saying? But so I think Zion goes to Nike, but they're saying it could be a stupid deal. And they're saying the shoe that he busted out of, they can't find it. What happened to the shoe that Zion busted out of? No one knows. So that's interesting. Obviously somebody janked that joint after the game, and that'll be sold to the highest bidder sometime. But yeah, shout out to Zion. Shout out to KnicksFanTV Dave. Dave, I just shut down the phone, so we're about to wrap up in a second. Just wanted to highlight some of these last minute articles. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to everybody on the chat. Sherman says, why can't Zion start his own shoes like a big baller brand, right? Listen, man, it takes a lot to start your own shoe company. You know, you see the issue that big baller brand got into. You know, the quality wasn't all that good, and then, you know, the business manager stole his money. So, you know, somebody like Zion, for right now, man, I would just go with Nike, go with the guaranteed dollars, and then once you establish yourself, then you could create the Air Zions or something later on. But get that guaranteed money first, man. Get that guaranteed money first. Then you can make your own joints. You can make your own slippers and slides or whatever you want to do. So that's that article. This one was from Bleacher Report, but it's all over the internet. The other article that was pretty interesting was from the Ringer. Ringer does some good stuff, except I don't like Bill Simmons. But you know, he's a media genius. That's one thing I will say. He's got a dope brand. Stephen Louis from the Ringer. This is the 20th anniversary of the 98-99 Knicks team that went to the finals. The Cinderella team that went to the finals in the lockout shortened year. This was a real dope article. If you guys have time, it's kind of lengthy, so if you guys have time over the weekend, man, definitely give it a read. It took me back, man. This was my team. 94 was my team, but this was my team too. Just taking you back from the beginning, you know, the unlikely nature of how this team kind of came together from, you know, kind of shifting from the early 90s teams of the Starks, Oakley, Mason era to kind of this new era built around Allen Houston, Sprewell, Camby, the acquisition of Camby, bringing in Sprewell when he was like the number one most hated athlete, not just in basketball, but in sports. I mean, when Sprewell choked out PJ Carlissimo, that was a monumental moment in sports. Sprewell was a villain, man, hated. I'm gonna post the link in the chat right now. Sprewell was hated, man, and who knew that when we got this guy and we traded our beloved John Starks, who was the heart and soul in New York, that Spree would just take that spot right over, man. Take that spot right over. So, yeah, this is real good. This is a really, really good job by the Ringer. I just put the link in the chat. This 9-9 team. Just a scrappy, ragtag group. They had no business being there, but as they came along, they had to win their last 6 of 8 just to make it. So they just scrape into the 8th seed. Then they go into Miami, the hated rivals. Riley had left, had just left, faxed in the resignation to MSG like a snake, goes to the Heat where he builds a Knicks clone, spitting image, same plays. You'll read in this article, Van Gundy said, we were running the same plays, same everything. 9-7 is the Charlie Ward and PJ Brown brawl. 9-8 playoffs is the LJ and Alonzo Mourning playoff brawl. And then comes 9-9. AC goes into Miami. Allen Houston with the miraculous shot. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about this, man. This was my team, man. This was my team, man. I always root for the underdog, man. Love the underdog story. So, so we go from Miami. Then we go to Atlanta. Tough Atlanta team. Very good Atlanta team with Steve Smith. Mutombo was at the top of his game, but we make quick work of them. Get them out of there. Then we go to Indiana, the next rival. We lose Ewing to the Achilles. So the captain is gone. The captain, we wanted to win this ring for the captain so bad. We lose the captain to the Achilles. Indiana. LJ with the 4-point play. I mean, I'll tell you, man, it's just getting those memories of this team. This was the team, man. So I put the link in the chat. Definitely give it a read, man. If you guys want to reminisce, for some of you young guys that didn't know too much about it, definitely read up on this team, man. But the bottom line is this team was built on heart, soul, grit, and defense. That's why this team made it. Because to a man, they defended. And then they were able to get, timely hoops with Allen Houston was able to get those, those mid-range isolation jumpers. Camby was the Mitch of that day, throwing everything and tip back dunks and high flying. And, then you had Sprewell. Sprewell was the heart. That was the engine that made it, that put it all together. Houston was the finesse. Then you had Childs and Ward. Those were, oh man, I could go on and on, man, because that was just that's what it's all about, man. That's why KnicksFanTV exists, because of teams like this. Real talk, man. Real talk. So yeah, hopefully, man, the glory days are not too far behind, man. Hopefully the glory days are not too far behind, but we'll make it there, man. We'll make it there, man. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. Knicks lose 120-96, get completely bulldozed the miles in Houston. But listen, 3 games left. It's almost over. We will be back. I'll be back Sunday. Make sure you check into the channel Sunday. Pre-game, halftime, and post-game. I will be at MSG at Knicks and Wizards. So make sure you tune in. I might have some surprises. We'll see what happens when I get there. Check this show out in audio format if you haven't. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Alexa. If you have an Alexa device at home, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play KnicksFanTV, and it'll play tonight's episode or whatever the most recent content is that we post to Alexa. So we in the future, man. We like the Jetsons, man. I'm future-proofing the show, man. You just saw the link to the Twitter group. If you guys want to join the Twitter group, Share this video with hashtag PostGameNYK, and we'll put you in the Twitter group. Just share it on Twitter, PostGameNYK. Put you in the Twitter group. And merch. Get your Mitch Please t-shirts, hoodies. The link to the merch is in the video description. And yeah, man. Yo, I had a good time despite the loss. I didn't really talk about the game too much. Not much to talk about, man. It's really about the future. It's really about the future at this point, man. So that's what it was all about. Shout out to everybody that called in. Shout out to everybody that's sticking through in the chat. You know, some of you guys are regulars. Like Jack Rhodes, Sima Singh, Ace Bear's in here all the time. Quiet Money's in here all the time. CP the Artist is in here all the time. Frank Matos is in here all the time. Gotta appreciate it, man. Carlos Martinez, appreciate the call all the way from Australia. Keith Sinclair's in here all the time. Yeah, man, appreciate you guys, man. You know, appreciate you guys. So I will check you guys once again on Sunday. John Talento, appreciate it, my guy. You guys have a good weekend, productive Saturday. And yeah, man, see you guys, man. Peace, have a good weekend.